Hello, hello. Welcome back to Sophisticated John with Danielle and Tiffany. What up,
Whoop.
John?
What up, John? What's going on?
So, for this episode, we're going to be chatting about good vibrations as it relates to family and considering what that looks like, the dynamic of family, those who think they have position and power because of
Mm,
their title and role
mm,
and
mm,
how that impacts us as individuals and just trying to keep the good vibrations
mm,
with family. And this makes me think of, I'm going to jump right into it.
mhm,
I was having a conversation with an uncle the other day, and it was a moment. We were going at it.
mm, mhm,
Not going at it
mhm,
in a way, but he was saying some things that I didn't appreciate.
mhm,
And then he said, he was telling his wife, he was like, I totally respect my niece, even though I'm the uncle and I'm in the
mm,
position of authority. And I was like, oh,
mm. Oof.
hold on
Oh,
a minute, bruh. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I said,
y'all got
well,
time today? Y'all got time
exactly.
today. Sorry,
Exactly.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
said, "I don't
Mm,
subscribe to that
mm,
idea." I said, "The only
mm,
person in our family that I give homage because of their role and position is my grandmother.
mhm,
And positionally, she is the matriarch of our family, so I honor that. And also my mother to an extent that
mm,
we in our relationship, but absolutely not because you're my uncle, my
mm,
mother's brother.
mm,
That means nothing to me, bro. And
mm,
I'm going to address you
mm,
and speak to you
mm,
in a way that honors who I am
mhm,
positionally in my own life.
mhm,
And that will not change.
mhm,
So I told him, be prepared to go toe to toe with me because I don't care
mhm,
about what your title is. That means
mm,
nothing to me. What
mm,
I honor and respect is honor and respect.
mm.
So he kind of had to deal with that.
Mm. But
We
go back to what he
Mhm.
said, "I respect my niece, but I" what?
But even though I am the uncle and I am in the role of authority. Wah, wah, wah.
Let's put a pin right there. Let's put a pin right there. This and what you said, title.
Mhm.
A lot of people hold titles. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that they have that they get honor and respect for it.
Right.
Respect is earned.
Yes, it
It's
is.
earned. And this
Mhm.
concept that because of the title that you hold, you
Right.
should be able to handle people any kind of way you feel
Mhm.
necessary. Absolutely not. And what's interesting is, and I know how you feel about your grandmother, but
Mhm.
even on a previous episode, you said, well, if necessary,
Oh,
I will go
absolutely.
have a conversation with grandma. And guess what?
Absolutely.
It's not to be disrespectful,
Right.
but it is to say, hey, I do have a difference of opinion as it
Mhm.
pertains to this. And that's
Mhm.
the part that I think we are challenged with generationally.
Yeah.
I think that there are definitely generations of people, specifically those older than us, that believe that they can do and say whatever they want. And
Right.
it is never to be checked or questioned.
Mhm.
And it's almost as if you are of lower being
Mhm.
in around them or in their presence. And so because of that, you do as I say, not as I do. Here's the challenge that I have in my life.
Mhm.
Because I was raised to respect all adults for
Mhm.
who they are, right? And I don't, for the most part, challenge. Well, I'm an adult now, but when I was a child, like I didn't challenge adults. And
Right.
even now, like, what I realize about myself, interestingly enough, even with my
Mhm.
RBF,
Mhm.
I can be a people pleaser, not
Mm.
just anybody.
Mhm.
But when it comes to my family, whatever I need to do to make sure everything's okay or keep the peace for the most part, I'm willing to do it. And I think that at this point in my life, I realize, nah, I'm done. It's not worth
Yeah.
it because what people do is they take that and they say, all right, because yeah, I'm gonna tell and she gonna be back and she gonna be, and it's like, hold on. First of all, my question is, and I say this especially in response to your story is, who exactly do you think you are
Come
that you get to handle
on.
me like that?
Come on. Like, I get it when we were children, and even in that dynamic, because I actually had my niece with me at the
Mhm,
time, and she was being fussy and saying no and all of that, and his response was very old school response, and
mhm,
I had to check him on that too. Like, we
mhm.
don't have to continue to repeat the
Yes.
mistakes of our
Oof,
past or
oof.
think that the way in which people were raised and the way in which
Mhm,
we did X, Y, and Z is the
mhm,
way. It was
mhm,
a way.
it was
Um,
a way.
it's not
Mhm,
my way.
mhm. That's
And
right.
what I've found is I believe that the most positive impact that I've had, especially with my children, is respecting their
Mhm,
voice and allowing them the opportunity to express themselves and share how where they are and how they're feeling so that I can sit back and say,
mhm,
okay, did I impact that
mhm,
in any way? Do I need to shift? Do I need
mhm,
to consider something different so that we
mhm,
can communicate and move forward through whatever challenges we're having? And it can't just be a, like you said, do as I say,
mhm.
because I said so.
That's right. That's
Nah,
right.
fam, that's not gonna work. That's not
It's
gonna work.
funny, someone said to me, they said, "Do you remember when we were younger and your parents' friends felt like they could be in your business
Whew.
because they were older than you, so they would ask you personal questions?" And
Mm,
like you said, not repeating the things that were done when we were younger. As an adult, I found myself talking to a younger person and just following up on something we talked about, and
mhm,
it was I was called on a carpet like, "Yo, chill out.
mhm,
If they come to
mhm.
you and say it, then that's one thing, but don't be in their business because
Yeah.
guess what? When you were a kid, you didn't like that. And it was like,
Mhm.
whoa, I didn't
Yeah.
even consider it from that perspective, but you're absolutely right. To your
Mhm,
point, everyone is entitled to their privacy and how they feel. And irrespective of age, I don't
mhm.
have a right to, try to be in their business or things like that. And so but you don't sometimes you don't realize these things that you're repeating. It's not
Right,
okay. Like,
right.
there are so many things we grew up under that when we look back now, we're like, I don't want to repeat
Yeah.
that. But if you're not careful, because it
Mhm.
becomes like it becomes muscle memory, you have to break that.
Right.
And it's a good thing that you acknowledge that with your own kids. But
Mhm,
I mean, even older people trying to check you from a place of where they are now
mhm,
in their life versus acknowledging the realities of life. And you
mhm.
weren't always in this position that you're in
Right.
now, right?
Mhm,
Like trying to trying to make you feel like you're not doing something the right way because of where they are in their life right
yeah.
now. When
Mhm,
you know their story and
mhm.
you're like, when you were my age, you were definitely doing a million different
Right.
things that you probably shouldn't have done, but it's like
Mhm,
now that I am and no one knows my past, so I can walk around and make
mhm,
people think that I've always been this way and I am it's like,
mhm.
man, you not even being real with yourself. But
Right.
more importantly, you can't imagine that you can just talk to and treat people any kind of way and they'll respect it. But you know what the problem is, D? So many times that experience that you just had has
Mhm.
happened and there's been no response.
Right.
Respect the fact that, yeah, you are my mom's brother, but I'm
Mhm.
also grown. And
Exactly.
again, my question is,
Mhm.
who do you think you are to talk
Yeah.
to me and handle me in
Yeah.
that manner? But when
Mhm,
you've let it go on for so long, people feel like they can, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it. And
mhm.
then if you do respond in a way that they don't appreciate, then they try to, I guess, strip you of your position,
Yeah.
your family.
Mhm. Right,
Please go
right.
pound sand. Go pound sand and kick
And
every
let
rock in America barefoot
exactly,
for
and let
me,
me be
please.
clear, me going toe to toe was not meaning I was going to start fighting physically my
No,
uncle.
no, no,
It's
no.
toe to toe in conversation.
Yeah.
One thing that kinda stuck out to me too is something that you just said about, like, people's past and where they've been and where they are now. They didn't get there because of some crazy discipline that came from
Mhm,
somewhere some other person. If
mhm,
anything, it was done in love, and that's how
mhm,
they've achieved and gotten to a place of what you would hope would be love because of
mhm,
the love that they were surrounded by.
mhm,
So and that doesn't just happen like, you So I can be in the wrong. Like, I totally
Mm,
understand that I can be wrong about some things. But the way that you're going to get through to me about me being wrong about something is with love, is with
yeah.
care, is with intent, even if it's challenging me. I can
Mhm.
totally honor that. But if you're
Yeah.
just saying, I am
Mhm.
who I am and you need to listen to what I have to say,
Mhm.
N that's not gonna fly over here, and I
Yeah.
don't want that for the people coming up under me either, and
Yep.
that was something that I said to him specifically. I was like, "You just expressed to me a few moments ago how people in the generation above you treated you a particular
Mhm.
way, and it impacted you to the extent that, you were having these challenges within yourself.
Mhm.
Why would you pass that on to the next
Mm,
generation?
mhm.
We gotta do better." And it's not even about, like, if you can't find the words to do and be for someone else, then just listen.
Mhm.
Just listen. You may not have what it takes in you right now
Mhm.
because of the frame of mind that you have as it relates to the role and positioning and all that. Like, all of that is a bunch of hogwash.
Mhm.
Like, role,
Mhm.
position, title, we family. What is that? Like, what is
Mhm.
that? Be able
Mm.
to listen and
Mhm.
hear what the needs are, and
Mhm.
then find it in yourself to see if you're capable of addressing those needs, because maybe you're not, and
Mm.
maybe you should just keep your mouth shut.
Maybe you should just keep your flipping mouth shut. That's the part. It's interesting because what happens is even though the generation or the folks above them treated them a certain way and they didn't like it, some people take that as well, now it's my turn. I get to pay it forward
Mm,
and I get to treat you like this. But the problem is
mm,
with every group of people that are born, you're gonna find some differences.
exactly.
I
Mhm.
acknowledge that I am a rebellious person. I am. I realize that about myself, and what
Mhm.
do I always say, D? The first step is knowing. I
Yeah.
know. I haven't really moved past that part, but I'm not rebellious in all things, but if I am I am also a person that I will acknowledge if I'm wrong, and I will try to right my wrong. But
Right.
if I am not wrong,
Mhm.
I am not okay. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to allow people to continue to treat me in a way that is just unacceptable. And the problem that we have, and I won't talk about any other community because I'm not a part of any other community, but in
Right.
our community, we
Mhm.
have a problem with just allowing things to happen and under the cloak of family.
Mhm. Right.
But are we really operating as a family, or are
Right.
we operating as some fake behind what is it called? Fake royal family where this is the
Mm,
king and the queen and
right.
you are the get the flip out of
Yeah.
here, please.
Yeah.
Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. But we have to, and one of the things that I'm working on is not being a people pleaser when it comes to
Mhm.
my family.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I'm trying very hard to let my yeses be
Mhm.
my yeses and my
Mhm.
no's be my no's, and trying also to adopt a little bit of what you used to be or currently are, which is the what?
The
CEO?
CEO of
No.
no.
Because people start to take advantage of that. "Oh, I know
Oh,
she'll
yeah.
do it. Oh, I know she'll do it.
Right.
Oh, I know, oh, she'll whatever, whatever." And it's like, wait a minute. You sit back and you think and you're like, and it's so crazy because we talk about this all the time. Sometimes I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it, and I don't realize until I take a step back and I'm like, what the what?
Yeah.
I'm allowing this to happen for I've said this in a previous episode. What do I do, Danielle? I overstay
Mhm.
relationships because my level of loyalty is so insanely high.
Mhm.
And everybody doesn't deserve your loyalty, and that includes family,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because
Yeah.
everybody that's classified as your family, guess what? They don't always have your best interests at heart.
That's
And
right.
there are a lot of people struggling with things internally, and they try to deflect, and they end up putting it on you and trying to make you feel less than. How can you
Mhm.
say that you're operating in love and coming to me in love if this is how you're, like
That's right.
I just don't, and that includes parents. Sorry.
Mhm.
It just
Yeah.
does. Like, just
Mhm.
because somebody played a role in getting you here does not always mean that they have your best interest at heart. And what I
Right.
never realized and what I could never wrap my mind around because I'm just not that type of person to think that way is
Mhm.
that either of the people in the parental unit that
Mhm.
created you could have some level of jealousy,
Yeah.
could like resent you or any of
Mhm.
those things. But when you start to dig deep and pull back the layers and talk, and find out like more information about their parents and stuff like that, then you start to see things and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
you really are something.
Yeah. I've thought about that over the years, just kind of in general. And what I've kind of come up with is that those type of people who biologically created another person that they
Yeah.
don't because I mean, thinking about adoptive or step parents and all
Yeah,
that,
no, that's why
like
I was like, that's a good, yep, that's a
biologically created a person, if you can't step aside
mm,
a part of yourself to kind of fully
mhm,
love your
mhm,
child,
mhm.
to me that means that you don't love a part of yourself.
Mm,
So the things that your child might be presenting might
mhm.
be things that are placing a mirror in front of you that you have
Wow.
not come to grips with or can't deal with.
Mhm,
And because of that, you don't know how to handle it because
mhm,
you either you said you mentioned jealousy or resentment. It's either something in their child that they wish they had, or
mm,
something in their child that they've suppressed so much because of someone
mm,
else's position in their lives that have told
mhm.
them that that's not okay. And then
Wow.
they see that and they're like they're torn between like
Mm,
it shouldn't be or should it be or I wish I could but I can't, or they don't even have the wherewithal to consider or sit back and think about like what it is that is preventing them from fully loving their
mhm,
child. Like
mhm.
I don't get that. Like I
Yeah.
part of the conversation with my uncle too, without getting too much in it, was like, I love my children and will love my child specifically the day
Mhm,
that they were born, the
mhm,
day as in today, and the day
mhm,
until I
mhm,
take my final breath.
mhm,
Nothing will change in my love. The
mhm.
way that I display my love might change because I hope and pray that I continue to grow and in
Yeah.
that glow so that my children get the warmth even more in some type of way, but
Mhm.
there will not be a time
Yeah.
that I don't love them. Even
Mhm,
if I'm hurt by them, even if
mhm,
I'm challenged by them, even if they do something that I totally disagree with, my
mhm,
love will not change. And I don't think parents who have issues with their kids can say that. Like you
mhm,
can't. There's no
mhm,
way you can say
mhm,
love holistically and fully because love is not a word. It's an
mhm,
action. There's
mhm,
no way that you're showing me something the
mhm,
opposite of, fully taking me, all of who I
mhm.
am in and saying that you love me. Nah, no.
The difference is what you just described is a love without condition.
Right. Mhm.
Many people love with conditions.
I
They
can't
just do.
I can't even take that. You don't love me
Mhm.
if there's conditions. No,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
love. Because
Yeah.
again, love is action. If you're saying you're taking away an action that
Mhm,
is loving from me, then you
mhm,
don't love me.
mhm.
Not in the way that I need to be loved. And our definitions must be completely different
Yeah.
because that is not love to me.
It's
You
tolerant.
right,
You tolerating me.
that's a word, that is a trigger word for me. I've heard that from people in my family, not about me, but about other
Mhm,
people in my family, like, "I
mhm,
tolerate them."
mhm.
That's some trifling stuff, yo. Either love
Listen.
me or leave me alone, honestly.
Well, listen, I think in these 40 years, I
Mhm,
am realizing so many things, and it's funny because often people tell you when you hit 40, just certain things are gonna happen or whatever, and I'm like,
mhm,
"Okay." And I'm gonna tell you, so many things are happening and so many realizations are occurring to me, and I fully agree with your statement. If you don't love me, leave me alone. I will
mhm.
not be tolerated,
Right,
especially by people that call me family
right.
or that I call family. And for me, I know who I am and I know how
Mhm,
I am.
mhm,
And if I am this way and you're able to still treat me in the manner that you did or do,
mhm,
then I am my and I keep coming back, I'm letting you know that how you're treating me is okay by
mhm.
keeping, by continuing to come back. And so you continue to treat me that way. And then you get to a point where you say enough is enough.
Yeah.
And then it's just it. And that's the part that I think is interesting about me that most people don't know. Once
Mhm.
I'm done,
Yeah.
I'm done. And it's
Mhm.
no I don't feel any regret about it
Mhm.
because I have tried as much as I could. I've tried to view it. I sent you something probably earlier today on Instagram
Mhm.
that said it was like my brain or something, and my brain is like, "We've completed this," or "We already resolved this." And then I'm like, "Yeah, but I just thought about it, and I have 20 different perspectives that I think we need to address." And it's like, that's me. So if I go through all those motions,
Right.
by the time I get to the point where I realize I've exhausted all possibilities and I've had enough, then I'm done. And I also accept that it's okay if family is included in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get a
Mhm.
pass.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. There is no way that I can love myself if I'm allowing people to treat me,
That's right.
tolerate me, and not
That's
love
right.
me.
That's right.
Nah,
That's not
nah.
right.
I value myself way too
That's
much.
right.
I've been through way too much to not have good vibrations.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just can't. I can't.
Yeah, and the thing is, so what I found myself doing is trying so hard to get that love back that I
Mm,
give. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that that's what I've been doing for so many years.
yeah.
And once I realized that, it was my mom that actually, gave me that revelation. And I was just like, oh, wow.
Mhm.
Oh, no. Like you
Yeah.
said, like I love myself way too much. And
Mhm.
I'm too much of a good person. I have some flaws.
Yeah.
I have a lot of flaws. But overall,
Yeah.
I'm a really good person and I
Mhm.
don't deserve this.
That's right.
So if I'm not going to take it from a person out in the street, why in the hand fat of a pig would I
Right.
take it from you? I
Exactly.
mean, the pig
Exactly.
got a lot of fat. I'm
He
just
did.
saying.
He did.
I'm
He did.
so just saying. But so often people, if we think about it, if we really think about it, we look at people, people aren't valuing themselves enough.
Mhm.
And
Right.
that's why
Right.
we accept so many things that we don't deserve,
Mhm.
and we end up in situations where we are we are taking other people's opinions as law, and we're
Mhm.
shifting our lives and we're shifting our decisions because of them. It's so funny how people can try to dictate what you should do in your life and
Mm.
who you should have in your life. But
Mm.
when you look at their lives
Mm.
and you see what they've seen from the person that they choose to be with for
Mhm.
so many years, and they never wavered, they
Right.
stayed with them even though they saw all these things, that
Mhm.
makes you look at them like, "Oh, do
Mhm.
as I say, not as I do, huh?
Mhm.
Okay,"
Right.
but then it also should you should question the wisdom giver.
Yeah.
I don't really know if you could be given wisdom
That's right.
from
That's
this
right.
here from this
Mhm.
here, sir or ma'am. So,
Mhm.
but those are things that you realize over time. And it's not,
Yeah.
and and let me be very clear. I'm not saying that you should cut off your entire family. In no
Right.
way, shape, or form am I saying that. What I
Right.
am saying though is just because they're family, that does not mean they get a pass.
Right.
Nobody deserves to treat you as less than. No one deserves to treat you as if they are tolerating you, and no one deserves to try to dictate your life. You don't
Mhm.
get to tell me what to do. You don't live my everyday life. You can give me your opinion if you choose to, but I didn't ask you. And a
Mhm.
lot of times you have to, like, okay, someone said to me, so prior to having my child, I traveled a lot, which because
Mhm.
we've traveled together. And someone said to me, "Oh, well, that's over for you now. It won't be no traveling to Paris or nothing like that anymore." And I said,
Okay.
and this is what I said. I said, "Why not?" Well, when you get the baby, I said, and guess what? She gonna have a passport and she
That's
gonna be with
right.
me. What you
That's
talking about?
right.
So
That's right.
is that thing like what are you hoping to happen because of, let me
Mm.
be very clear. If God has blessed me to be able to
Mhm.
bring forth this life at
Right.
this good point in my life, do
Mm.
you think that He is not going to bless me with the provision to take
Right.
care of
That's
and to
right.
continue to live? Like, let us be very, like, people try to put things on your life and how the things that they hope to happen.
Mhm.
No, it's okay. You'll be right here, never having
Mhm.
been, and I'll continue to
Right.
be. And she'll be in fifth grade talking about, oh,
Mhm.
yeah, me and my mom and whatever just came back from Greece. And then we went over to this island or whatever. Yeah. So
Mhm.
just because that wasn't your life when you had your
Right.
kids, no, My bad. I went on a little rant.
Ooh,
Sorry,
ooh,
y'all.
yeah.
I'm
Ooh,
just
yeah.
saying, like, who why would you say that? Like,
Right,
kids don't travel?
right,
I done seen
right.
we've seen plenty on planes.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
stop.
Yes,
Ugh.
indeed. Yes,
Anyway, people be
indeed.
hating.
They do. They be hating. They be
Man,
hating. And I think
man.
it's important to, you know, um, protect your peace
Mhm.
and know who will help you in that
Mhm.
vein, and who will harm you in that
Mhm.
vein. And being able to, solidly say that you are loved and are loving those who love you in return. So
Mhm.
while family can push every button and bring up every trigger, our hope, of course, and I say this personally, and I believe I can say this for you too, is
Mhm.
that what we would hope is that those who we love and we cherish as family, we can continue to build and grow together. But
Definitely.
when the chasm occurs, maybe it's time to sit back and reflect on,
Mhm.
where we go from here. And it doesn't just have to be sweep under the rug and keep it
Mm.
pushing. It can be some solid, hard reflection
Yeah.
of your own and, hopefully allowing
Mhm.
them to do the same. And if we can't come back to a point where we can honor and respect and truly love one another,
Mhm.
then I bid you adieu, and that's okay.
And there it is. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you in the next episode
That's it.
of Sophisticated John.
Peace.